Hello and welcome to another Sportscast Spotlight. Today we are joined by ultra runner Beth Rainbow. How are you doing today, Beth?
Yeah, good, thank you. Feeling good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. We'll start right at the start. When did you first start running? When did it become a thing, or when did it interest you first?
So, my story is a bit different. I didn't really run at all in school. I didn't really do sport at all in school. I was more of a dancer. So I was the ballet tap modern 5 times a week. Crazy amount of dancing, but absolutely loved it. And then my family were always quite keen runners. My mum and dad, we always had like a treadmill at home, just like fitness running. And when when I was doing my GCSEs, I just would jump on there occasionally. I remember the first run I did on it, I ran a mile in like 13 minutes, and I looked at my mum. I just like 1 mile, and I went, "Is that good? Is that a good run?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." But just done like a little bit of fitness. It was only when I left school and dancing stops, really, when you leave school. And I was like, I want us to keep fit and keep it going and do something to stay active. And that's when I really got into running, and just found a massive passion for it and just love it.
Do you miss the dance side? Do you mind?
I do miss the dance side. I still do like, or did for a few years, quite a few shows. My mum and sister are like massive theatre people. My mum puts on shows for St Martin's Musical Society like mostly every year, and I do like I started doing the shows quite a bit, and then as the love for running went up, the love for shows kind of went down, and they kind of crossed paths and at one stage, and now it's kind of like my whole time and focus is running rather than the shows. I'll leave that to my mum and sister.
Yeah. Do you have someone who you kind of looked up to or even look up to now in the running world at all?
Oh, yeah, I have countless inspirations that I look up to. One massive one in like the ultra world for me is Courtney Dauwalter, which I think loads of people would probably say the same. She's just an American. She's a beast, basically. It's crazy, beating a few of the men and just absolutely crushing it. And then more close to home, I'm massively inspired by our local ultra runner Leanne Riv, who actually got me into it in the first place. She took me over to Arundel in the UK, and we ran some crazy miles. I think it was the first time my eyes got open to like trails, and like I realized I could run 40 miles, 20 miles, 10 miles all in 3 consecutive days. And I was like, wow, like this is so fun, which sounds crazy
Yeah.
to come back from that and think it was fun. But she's just amazing. She's just done Tour de France a few times, which just, yeah, completely inspiring for me. Who's just started my ultra journey. So yeah, no, loads of people that I can go on, but I
Yeah.
don't want to.
Did you fall in love with ultra straight away once you did that race, or what were you thinking up to that race?
Yeah, pretty much. So I just I think I done a half marathon, a marathon, and then in the space of the first year that I started like really getting into running, and then literally that March, Leanne was just like, "I'm going here. Like, do you fancy coming? Like, we'll just do some long, easy miles." And then from that moment, from that weekend, I just fell in love with it, and I remember coming home and I was sending Leanne races like, "Oh, what do you think of this one? Do you think I could finish this?" And I had that confidence and that love for it then. And then I think I done 3 that year, like official races, just because I just loved it. But yeah, I kind of went straight into the ultra world, which is quite rare.
How much is it a mental game as well as a physical game for the ultra side of things?
Yeah, completely. I'd say probably even as far as like 80% mental, 20% physical. Your mind will give up long before your body, and it's just how like mentally willing you are to push past it.
Yeah.
Like round the rock, just been like my knee blew up in the first 10 miles, and I kind of like you learn to just block it out, and that sounds quite dangerous. Like obviously if you're really injured you should definitely stop, but
Yeah.
I knew it was just a niggle, and then eventually it just disappeared, because it's like mind over matter, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Um,
Mm.
do you remember your first race? What were you thinking kind of going into it, leading up to it? Were you nervous?
Yeah, definitely. My first race was the Jersey Half Marathon in 2018, and I'd done it with one of my good friends, Charlotte. We basically decided one day at a CrossFit session that we were gonna go for it for the half marathon and see how it went. And I was a treadmill junkie then, so from being in my house, I'd only really just like really getting into running, and I was just going out running hard. I think I was trying to run like 6 miles 5 times a week. Like I didn't know any of the science or anything behind it. Didn't have any gels. I think I had like a banana and a coffee in the morning, and just went for it. But I loved it, and I did like a lot better than I thought I was going to, which gives you that excitement, doesn't it, when you surprise yourself.
How was that race? What kind of time did you get in, and like how did you hit the wall at all in that race?
No, not that race. So that one was quite good. I think I came in at like 1:44. I just snuck onto the 1:45 bracket, which I was shocked about because I wanted what quite a lot of people aim for, the sub 2 hour kind of mark. So I think when I finished that, I was like, oh wow, like, oh, that I done quite well there. But yeah, I didn't hit the wall at all. I think I had like jelly legs at the end, but that was about it. I hit the wall in the marathon though. I can tell you that badly.
What was the longest you'd run before that half marathon?
Oh, I think about 10 miles. I did.
Yeah.
I think that's what like most people aim for, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I read like an article online like how to complete your first half marathon, and I just copied that completely.
Going on to next kind of question. There's obviously highs and lows in sport. What would you say has been your lowest moment in running or ultra running so far?
Yeah, that's tough. I think like it's part of the roller coaster of running, isn't it? Like there's progression sometimes isn't just steady. Like you go up and down all the time. You have a really good race, then you can have a not so good race for it to be an amazing race the next time. I think one of the hardest or one of the most eye-opener races for me was Wendover Woods 50 in the UK, and it's 5 10 mile loops of Wendover Woods, ran by the Centurion ultra running guys. And I'd come from like doing quite well locally in double top, the Trail Monkeys double top, and around the Rock in the Year. And I went to that race and realized how much of a little fish in a massive pond I was. They started 2 hours later because the weather was horrendous. I think it was like there was a storm at the time, which was fine. And then the day went on, it obviously got darker a lot earlier than it usually did. So the first 30 miles, absolutely fine. I was like, wow, like cruising, feeling great. And then, the lights went out basically. And there's no background light in the woods. It's all just you and your torch. And it was my first race like that. So I didn't really have a great torch. I didn't really have like any idea how dark it was going to get. As soon as I came back from that race, I bought like a proper head torch. Like I'm never letting that happen again. But it got to the extent where on the last lap I basically stopped someone who I saw was heading out for their last lap as well, and I was like, you have to help me get round, I can't see. So that was tough, but I think that was one of, like, looking back, sometimes the tougher races are like one of your best achievements because you actually got through it, and I managed to finish it, which at loads of points in that race I was like, there's no way.
It's definitely a bigger achievement when you feel not giving up. It's the hardest. Like you're feeling the pain and you're feeling how hard it is. Talk to us about, you touched on it before, the marathon, hitting the wall. What was that like?
Oh yeah. So Jersey Marathon 2018, I'd done the half. I'd done the Trail Monkeys half marathon in August as well. I was like, oh, let's just go for it. Let's see how it goes. Again, no proper training. I think I moved from running my 6 miles 6 times a week to 10 miles 6 times a week, like a lot on the treadmill as well. I actually found my training on my like Nike training app the other day, and it was just like going hard, just like 10 miles just here and there. If only I knew. But on the day, I think same thing. I had like a coffee and a banana, and I was wondering, I was like, why are people like handing out jelly babies and like loose aids. I was like, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like people having a snack on their way around.
Yeah.
Little did I know, I got like 3 miles. Like, so I think I just hit the Esplanade. Oh, it was horrible. I basically had to walk it in. And my dad like cycled past and was like, "You've got this," and I was like, "Oh, like it's horrible." I'd never, and then I was like, "I'm never doing that again." And that's when I like looked into research, looked into getting a coach to actually learn how to train and just learn about running a lot better and doing better for myself.
How key is that for like people maybe looking to go into running and probably don't know that side of things, the nutrition side, the gels, all of that? How important is that to do well in races and key for just to do well and to run?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so important. And like fuel itself, anything over an hour and a half, like just topping up your carb fuels, like you'll feel it. You'll feel the benefits. And you'll just race a lot better. You'll run a lot better, full stop. Like if you're topping up those stores, you're just, yeah. If people knew that when they first started, then you would like reduce so many people hitting the wall and stuff. But there's obviously more to hitting the wall. You can get it from just like going far too quick, far too early. But nutrition is mostly like one of them. Practice makes perfect.
Obviously you do long distance running. Do you still enjoy the shorter runs, or do you? I know for me, I prefer the longer runs and I hate the shorter runs. Is that the same for you, or do you enjoy the shorter runs as well?
Yeah, I love everything.
Yes.
I'm one of those people where I've had loads of like discussions about this. Like you can actually, if you focus all your time in one thing, you could be really good at like one thing. But I want to be like mediocre at like everything. So like I want to have like a decent 5K time, and I want to have a decent like 50-mile time. Like that's what I'm like trying to aim to be, like more all round the distance, if that makes sense. But I do love the ultras. My plan was for once I finished Marathon des Sables, which I'm supposed to be doing this year, was to take a break for the ultras for a bit, just because of age and everything. It's like a good time to get fast and like keep your speed. Although there's so many people out at the moment that are defying those odds, that are in their like late 30s and getting quicker times than they've ever got in their life. So so like
what we talked about your lowest moment, let's be a bit brighter. What has been your highlight so far? What's been your standout?
Oh, that's also tough. I have a few. Probably the first time I completed the Trail Monkey double top. So that was like the 40 miles, St. Catherine's to the Tack and back on the North Coast. Completing that, just and knowing I could do that was just like an amazing achievement in itself. Another one would be the Jersey Marathon. The year after I hit the wall. So I went back exactly the year later, and after a coach and fueling and a proper training plan, managed to take 20 minutes off my PB. So like just crossing that finish line was just like an amazing feeling. And then the last was the double challenge, just been in November for a great cause, and it was my first like solo win in like a running event. So just major highlight for me. Just
how was that? How was that leading the way as well? Leading the kind of pack in the females, and how was that being at the front?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think because obviously with everything going on, it was staggered starts. So I was like, oh, like I don't actually know. But like obviously just leading the pack is just such a nice feeling. And then when I turned the corner and I could see the little flag up, you just can't help but you're like smiling, getting really excited. But no, it was an amazing feeling. Definitely one of the highlights when you work so hard. And I had like a few seconds and a few thirds at like a couple of the ultras over here. So to take a win on something was just such great like achievement for me.
Do you enjoy the trails as much as you do road races?
Yeah, definitely. The trails over here are so tough though. Like I love the like North Downs Way, South Downs Way in the UK. Just like rolling trails, still really tough, but not as many stairs.
Nah, nah, it's crazy. I did the
Yeah,
North Coast Challenge. It wasn't the double. I don't know how you did that, but
yeah,
I did the North Coast and ran a lot of it. Oh, I was dead at the end.
yeah.
Absolutely
It's a
dead.
killer, isn't it?
I,
Absolute killer.
I was so happy I finished it though, so it was good. Um,
Amazing.
2020, it's been different, hasn't it? And well, 2020, 2021 now. Um, how did you adapt to it, and did you get many races in?
Yeah, I actually did. So I was supposed to do Marathon des Sables in April 2020. That got postponed, understandably, till October, and then postponed to April, which is now this October.
Yeah,
So we're on the fourth try.
yeah,
But when that was cancelled, I kind of shifted my focus. There was a Centurion again did like a challenge week. So
yeah.
me and my friend Rich did a 100-mile week, which was really cool. And then from then, I kind of switched my focus to try and get a couple of PBs and goals I had for the year. So I think it was literally 2 weeks after that, I got my sub 25k, which I really wanted. The sub
Yeah,
20 for 2020 was my
yeah.
goal. And then I did a few speed things. And then I saw the Trail Monkeys were putting on Round the Rock. And I was like, let's put that ultra block for MDS to good use. So thankfully managed to get that in.
Yeah.
And then the double challenge got snuck that in as well. So for a
So
year of not many races, I actually did quite well. Thankfully for all the local races that were set up really well. Actually, just
yeah,
couldn't fault them at all.
how good is Trail Monkey for Jersey? The whole setup, the whole putting on races, and how they did adapt this year, and they put on a good few races.
Yeah, amazing. They have it so right, and they get all the community involved. It's open to anyone. They have such a range of distance. Um, and their COVID measures are really good with the staggered starts and the like fill your own bottles. Just couldn't fault it at all. So hopefully they can have the chance to put on a few more this year as well. And get people out and racing again.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Mm.
You talked about getting the goals and setting goals and achieving goals. How important is it when you're running or training that you set goals and not just run? Does it help the training a lot?
I think so. I think for me, I love the training side of running, and I think races are like the icing on the cake. Like races help us focus, but they shouldn't drive you for that to be the only reason that you run. Like you should train because you love it and you feel good and you love seeing progress, and consistency is key. So if you can smash out a good few training blocks and a race comes up, you're going to be ready and you're going to enjoy it, and it's going to show what your training's done rather than just be your aim.
Yeah,
That's why personal goals are a lot better, and even like processes towards your goals rather than saying, I want this time in this race. You can be like, I'm going to get that by saying my goal is I want to run 3 times a week consistently for the next however long before I hit that goal. And so you have more of like a guide to your goals rather than just saying you want to hit
yeah,
times or you want to do things. It really helps. I think it's so important for motivation and drive.
definitely. And there's a lot more people out there running now. And what do you make of
Mm.
that? Do you enjoy seeing more people out on the roads and running and
I love it.
enjoying themselves? Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And I love getting questions. Like I get a few messages on Instagram, like I'm getting into running. Do you have any advice? And a lot of trainer advice, which I'm all for. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I love it. I want to preach the safe, like how people can do it safely and so they can do it sustainably and not get injured.
yeah. I saw your Instagram earlier about with your trainers. How many do you have for people that don't know, and how much do you love them?
I've got 14 in the rotation at the moment. Um, Another two, but I've retired them. They're no good for running anymore. So they're just a daily trainer now. And I just love them. I spend a small fortune on shoes that I'll probably wear five times max. But you know what? That's what I spend my money on. So
why not? Makes you happy.
Yeah.
Final question: what is next for you? Have you got long-term goals in terms of ultra running? Is there a race that you really want to do? Maybe.
Yeah, I think long-term goals are, well, officially get Marathon des Sables done whenever that can be safely done. I can't wait I'm still very excited for it, so just got to wait and see when it will happen. And then another main goal of mine is in the shorter distances is to try and get into the championships for London Marathon, which I think for a woman around my age is around a 3:15 marathon, which I think in the next few years is definitely achievable. Baby steps. And yeah, I want to. I'm coached by Tom Evans, who's an amazing athlete who shows he can crush the ultras, and he's currently training for the Olympic marathon trials. And then can run like a super quick. I think it was like 40-minute 5K or something crazy. And that inspires me to try and just keep open-minded and can show that you can do such a range of distances, which I would love. But yeah, and ultimately also another long-term goal is to try and help people with their running, and I've just started up running coaching and through Function Fitness, just to get more people inspired and training and loving running.
How much are you enjoying that, the coaching side of things?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I think it's the programming of running and helping people reach their goals is like just as much excitement as doing your own, if not more, when you've helped someone else hit their goal. Yeah, it's such a great sense of achievement. But no, I do love the programming and all the science behind run slow to run fast and all of that kind of stuff.
Definitely. Final question: you've obviously gone around the world a bit doing your running. Where's the favorite place you've raced in terms of destination?
Ooh, that's tough. I haven't been too far. I've only really been to the UK and Jersey. I had Berlin marathon lined up this year, which was super excited for. Or am. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But probably, I just don't think you can beat the Jersey North Coast. I think it's just on a summer's day. I mean, Round the Rock was a bit too hot last year, but it's just absolutely stunning. Like, if you're ever running out there, just remind yourself to look up and to look out, because it's so easy to just keep your head down and run. But there's some amazing views we have over here that are just unbeatable.
Definitely. Thank you for coming on. Really interesting.
No, thank you very much.
Really interesting to hear from you and to hear about running, all the sides of running that has, and the tips and advice I'm sure many will take from it as well. So thank you and good luck with your goals as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.